Good morning, viewers and listeners. We are live, and this is the State of Football Show, Episode 5 of Season 2. Your new home for real football talk in the morning, partnered with Fan Nation, powered by Sports Illustrated via the NFL Draft Bible. I am your host, Big Law, and this is show number 264. And as I always say, if Virginia is for lovers, then the Fridays on the State of Football are for interviews. And now let's talk about the number show. It's number show 264. Now let me give you what this means and the numerology energy behind that. The numerology energy represented by the number 264 resonates with creative expression based on a resonance of optimism, companionship, nurturing, and practicality. The 264 energy also resonates with tolerance and relationships. The energy is inspiring. People who live with the number 264 energy tend to be highly creative and social. They generally have pleasant personalities that easily make friends. A 264 person is apt to be a good team worker, one who would often comes up with a creative solution. That is like my best one. All right. And then it also says the creative energy has a sense of family, nurturing, and home. That's my best number. So 264, I'm going to have to post that somewhere because we're all about team here on the State of Football. Hey, guys, everything is beautiful right now. You know why? Because football has officially kicked off. All right. And as football has officially kicked off, let me tell you how to get to our website. Go to www.si.com/NFL/draft. Also, catch us on our other social media platforms. Catch us on Twitter. Catch us on Twitch. Catch us on Facebook. Also, coming to a device near you, streaming. If you wanted to get it on your device or you wanted to order the hard copy, get the Prospect Encyclopedia. Coming from us as well. All different types of information on prospects. Just check it out. We will educate you and entertain you. That is my motto. Don't nobody else try to take that. Educate you and entertain you. That's right. Today we have three guests today. And it's going to be a pretty jam-packed show. As we go here, we do have, let me tell you who I got. I have Mook Williams. All right. And Mook is going to teach us and kind of educate us about the game when it comes to being an agent, and what kind of goes on behind the scenes and the NFLPA exam, how to become an agent, that kind of a thing. Also, we have Matt Sposta coming up as well. And we'll talk with him about the Hall of Fantasy business that he has going. Then we also have Danton Barton from he's a former NFL scout as well. But I can tell you, this is a jam-packed show. And like I said, everything's beautiful because the NFL season has officially kicked off. And, if we have our guests ready to rock and roll, I'm also in and ready to get it. And we can jump right in. Oh, my goodness. We're in. It's in the morning. My man, Mook Williams, co-founder of the NFL Draft Bible Consulting. How you doing this morning, brother?
Good, Big Law. How are you doing? I see you're fired up, energetic, and positive, and that's the only way to be.
Man, I can't help it, man. I can't help it, man. That I think, when we're doing something like this where it's pretty much you could do anything else in the world, but when you involve sports, something that you really love, like this, you got to have the energy for it, man. Don't come at all.
That's true. I believe it, and we're all blessed. We're blessed to be involved with something we would enjoy observing anyway, one way or the other.
That's right, man. I would watch it, if I wasn't doing this. So you're absolutely right. So,
right.
So, as this is a little bit of a locker room atmosphere, you're in the State of Football. I got to ask you, what are your measurables? I ask everyone this. What are your measurables, Mook?
Man, I haven't weighed myself in a long time, but I'm going to put myself in my mind, I'm 5'7", but I'm probably like 05, 06, 8 or something. I don't know. I'm probably just a little bit under.
Okay.
Weight, weight, I haven't weighed myself, but I'm probably weighing in at about, I don't know, 156, 157.
Okay, slot receiver.
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
or really short kicker. That's probably better.
That's what I want, baby. Everybody comes on. You got to give me your measurable.
Yeah.
You never know who's watching, man. So
my times 225 right now is probably 0.
Yeah,
but
man,
I can run really long and bike really long. But they don't test either of those in the combine. So I'd be a slow starter for sure.
I got you, man. I got you. So for those who don't know, I mean, you're always, you've been on here with us, with Rick, and with the State of Football. This is my first time interviewing you. Kind of give us an idea of who Mook Williams is and kind of what you do before we get into asking you some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm a 10-year retired NFLPA certified agent. I hung it up back in June of 2019. Before that, I helped founded 3 different agencies. The last one being Vayner Sports, which is the most prominent right now. The other two aren't around anymore. But done that since I retired as an agent. I've continued my legal career. I've been an attorney since 2002. Been out there doing everything. Actually, before I was an agent, I handled 3 different cases involving NFL stadiums as an attorney.
Wow.
Architectural and engineering disputes, where I would represent a design professional, Gillette Stadium, Georgia Dome, Ford Field. You're getting old when a case you handle is on a stadium that isn't operating anymore. But
oh my goodness.
I had cases on all 3 of those. And since I retired from being a player agent, I still maintain my coaching agent practice. We got a few guys in the mix. They're all very happy to be back in camp or about to be going back to camp. Been doing that. Co-founded NFL Draft Bible Consulting with our esteemed permanent host Rick Saratella on the morning show. He's taking a break. For those that haven't tuned into this show very often, you normally see Rick on the screen, and we help all sorts of clients, from agents to players to whole leagues to teams. Wow. And whatever you need, we can help you out. If you put Rick and I together, that's a lot of experience, a lot of contacts around the league, and lots of advice that we can give to you. You could pay us so you don't get to make these $60,000 mistakes that I once made as a player agent. You can learn through my pain, because there's a lot of gambling and pain out there when you're in the agent world, especially when you get up to the higher echelons. So that's what I'm up to. I'm working on some other entrepreneurial things. I'm never sitting still for too long. Keeping my law practice active as well. And yeah, I think now that we got past the COVID season, which was slow for pretty much everybody that has businesses that are third party to football or any other sport for that matter. I think now it's going to be reverse. And yeah, we got the Delta variant that could totally throw a monkey wrench into everything. But I think this season's going to be like one of those super amped up seasons. This might be the most juiced up season, and I'm not talking about steroids, but the most juiced up season that we've seen in the football world in quite some time. And I think it already is, with the stuff that's already been going on. This is going to be high energy, high activity, chaotic, lots of different unpredictable things happening, and people making up for lost time, including in the stands. So it's going to be pretty passionate, wild, active, unpredictable. And I'm really looking forward to this season for many reasons. It's just going to be good to see a product on your TV or in person that resembles what we missed back before COVID.
Well, you got to figure with the Hall of Fame doubling up, sending in as many people as they're sending in, because they necessarily couldn't do it last year. So that's kind of an indication of, trying to fit, 2 pounds of sugar into, or 5 pounds of sugar into a 2-pound bag. Trying to give as much as you can. And also, like you said, with the variant coming, everybody wants to kind of get it in, before they start canceling and start postponing things. And that's what we're all hoping doesn't happen. But, we want to continue to get everything in that we need to get in. So getting into like the NFLPA exam and kind of what happens with that, like Rick was talking to me about some of that. I even had aspirations to becoming an agent. At one time, you
didn't do
chuckle.
it.
Did you guys see the chuckle? You see the laugh. He
Yeah,
knows it's
you're the
difficult.
smart one. You're the smart one on the screen. I'm the one that
Yeah,
actually did it for 10 years.
man, and it just kind of it just didn't happen for me, but but that was something that I really had aspirations for, and maybe we'll talk off camera, and I'll let you know why. But tell us about the exam. I heard that it's like $2,500 to take. Is this true, or how much is it to take it?
It should be that. I don't remember the exact fee. I did have the pleasure of consulting an exam taker this time around, so I got
Mm-hmm.
really deep into the details. Yeah, typically the fee is right around there. Then when you pass, you have to pay the annual fee, which is, I believe, $1,000, maybe higher. And then after getting the annual fee, you have mandatory insurance that you have to get, which when I was practicing was $1,400 a year. I don't know if it's gone up or down since then.
Mm.
I had a real problem with the insurance because it's an insurance policy that at the time no claims had ever been made against. Maybe that's changed by now, but let's just say that very few claims have ever been made against this policy that the agents had gone out and procured. So, I had beef with that for sure. But yeah, so the bottom line is it's a very expensive, risky industry to get into, and then you got to sign the players. And while the landscape and how to do business as a player agent is changing dramatically due to NIL developments, we're in a new era. We truly are in a new era of being a player agent thanks to NIL, and I think that's ultimately going to lower the cost out of your pocket if you're a player agent. But in the end, you still got to shell out a lot of time, a lot of money. And I mentioned that $60,000 mistake earlier in my appearance. I've made a bunch of big money mistakes, but you're not going to get the player, especially if you're young, hungry, and coming up and not one of those huge names, without gambling a whole bunch of money. And that I think is changing with the NIL, but it hasn't changed enough to move the needle that far, at least this season, for the player agents. Now, this test that we just had, this is the most amount of test takers we ever had by a mile. I think more than 30% more than the next highest level. So we're going to have all these new player agents flooding the market. We already have a bunch of other agents that many of them took the COVID season off, which is what I would have done. I would not have done any new college recruiting if I was still an agent during COVID. It's just too unpredictable. We didn't know what was going to happen. We don't know what season was going to get played. There wasn't a combine. It was just way too risky. So you had a lot of agents take that off. So now they're coming in this year. They had a year of rest. They saved up. They got some extra money, so they're coming in hot. You got the brand new agents that are going to come in super hot. There's always people from the new agent class there's always a few guys that come in with a boatload of money and they start spending and going crazy and they make a splash. So it's just the most new agents ever is yet another factor that you're going to throw into the mix for this season. That's going to make this season extra crazy and extra active.
I guess it keeps the profession healthy because you got new agents, and of course you're always going to have a lot that are going to fall off and some that make it. But if you did have someone who was truly inspiring, what are some things that you would tell them that they need to do for sure to try to make it?
First of all, hire NFL Draft Bible Consulting to help you prepare for the exam.
Perfect setup, right? And knock it right out. That's it.
But our client, he's very pleased with the job we did. I gave him an outline that I originally drafted when I was taking the exam way back in 2009. And he said that the outline pretty much matched almost the entire seminar that they had, word for word. So, the NFLPA hasn't changed the script around too much for how they prepare agents. So, you get that outline, that's a major boost. But beyond hiring us, I would say even if you don't hire us, you better be prepared for this exam because you can only take it one time per year. And if you fail it twice, 2 years in a row, I believe you're banned for 5 years from taking it again. So, you better take that exam seriously. Not to mention all the money we just talked about. You're going to pay a $2,500 fee to fail. So get ready, get serious, treat it like it's an important event in your life. But that's step one. Now let's move on to the actual business of becoming an agent. You can set the groundwork apart from studying and knowing the CBA and having everything organized and understanding everything. You can set the groundwork for success as an agent before you take that exam. The number one factor in succeeding as an agent, you could be the smartest capologist, you could have the CBA memorized front to back, you could be the best contract negotiator in the world. None of those factors truly matter. What really does matter and what determines whether you're going to be successful financially as an agent or not is how well do you get along with players, and how well can you retain them once you sign them as clients. That's really all that matters, is the talent. Your success. One of the reasons why I retired is because I don't like basing my success upon the success of somebody else. And as a player agent, you are tied in with your clients. So you could be the best, most brilliant, smartest player agent in the world, do everything perfect. But if you sign players that do not succeed, that get hurt, that get into trouble, that for some reason get a bad break from the coaching staff and never really pan out, you're going to lose a lot of money. Conversely, you could be the laziest, dirtiest, most shortcuttingest agent. But if you guys all make it, play well, or if you have a certain percentage of guys that make it and they stay with you for some reason, you're a success. So it's all about the talent. So if you want to succeed in that way as a player agent, get out there, start dealing with athletes of any type, not just football players. Learn how to deal successfully with athletes. You learn how to get along with them, learn how to develop a rapport, and then you will bring that experience once you pass the exam, and you'll be much more well-equipped to succeed versus somebody coming in cold.
Man, that's deep and in depth. I appreciate that, man, that answer. I mean, you're going to, people are going to come back to this, and you're going to be – people are going to learn some things from what you're saying, man. I appreciate that. So let's get back to that NIL. So what's the latest developments on the NIL? I mean, people, it's the wild, wild west right now. I've said they got to get it while they can get it before the regulations come down and they really tie things down. Yeah,
I believe at least some states there will be regulations attempted because Supreme Court can certainly beat the NCAA up, and they will if the NCAA tries to strong arm athletes again on limiting their money. They'll take another L in court. I can guarantee you that. However, the Supreme Court is going to have a much harder time bullying around, pushing around actual state law as long as it's constitutional. So if the state law is well drafted, potentially there could be limitations, but it's going to be a state by state basis unless some federal laws pass, which I don't see that happening. We can't get anybody to agree on anything in Congress and the House of Representatives. But barring no federal law, I think you are going to see certain states continue to pass laws. We've seen a bunch of states pass laws that are very much in favor of the college athlete. We've seen other states pass laws that they market it as, oh yeah, we're supporting them. And then if you look in the details, they're really not, and making it more difficult. Now we're getting high schoolers getting into it, which I definitely saw that coming. And some of the state laws prohibit that. A few of them don't. And then a bunch of other states are silent. They don't have any laws on the book now. So yes, there's going to be Wild West. Yes, there's some big heavy hitters that are getting involved with trying to work with college athletes. I'm myself getting involved a little bit, but I would tell everybody out there, all the athletes watching, make sure you have somebody on your side, a good counsel or a trusted business experience family member or friend to review all those contracts you're signing for NIL. Because as somebody, I was general counsel of Vayner Sports, and I had the opportunity to do a lot of marketing and appearance contracts and whatnot, and see a lot of them. I can tell you a lot of the brands out there, they either don't have a contract at all or they're poorly drafted. So make sure you have good counsel on your side. Doesn't have to be an attorney, just has to be somebody that's business experience. But don't use the school, don't use a player agent who's trying to represent you at the next level, because a bunch of the player agents are not good attorneys. There are some, including my old firm, I would say would definitely be trustworthy to use because they're very experienced. But many of the other player agents out there, if they don't have real legal experience, real legal background, you can't trust that they're gonna leave you with good language in your contract. So get somebody on your side that's independent of the school, that's independent of any other ulterior motive. They don't want to represent you later. They don't want you to come train for them. They don't want something from you. Get somebody that's objective, that cares about you, or who you are hiring specifically for that job to work on those deals, because it's going to be chaotic. There's going to be tons of lawsuits. You're going to have brands not playing players for breaching contracts, and you're going to have players taking the money and not living up to their set of contracts. So it is going to be Wild West, as you said. There's so many crazy developments that it's hard to keep track. I'm just really intrigued by all the big organizations, the big marketing machines that are trying to come in here and eat up real estate. I think they're going to be in quick and out quick. But we'll see how it goes. It's really intriguing to follow, and it's going to impact the entire landscape of not just football, but many other sports.
That's very interesting advice that you said. Get somebody independent. See, I was thinking someone who is, representing you, from the agent standpoint of playing, with an organization. But you said no, separate it. Get somebody who is going to definitely just handle your NIL. That is very interesting. And of course, the way that this NIL is taken off, their NIL contracts could be bigger than their regular contracts that they play for.
Surely, this will cause fewer people to come out into the draft. I think this will cause college football. NCAA has been fighting this tooth and nail. Well, guess what? This is going to cause your talent to stay longer. This is going to cause your games to be better, because if you're already making six figures in marketing money, or sometimes seven figures in marketing money, what's the rush? You got the money. What's the rush? I'm gonna enjoy my college life, because I'm never gonna have this kind of life again. So I'm a millionaire. Imagine being a millionaire in college. Imagine that. College was awesome, having $20 in your pocket. Imagine being a millionaire. Come on,
man. That's insane. You might want to be in college for a lot longer than you're supposed to.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my MBA. I'm gonna get my law degree, my PhD. I'm not leaving.
Exactly. Y'all just draft me. When I come out, I'll come out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but think about that, right? That's gonna happen. You're gonna have a declining number of early entrants into the NFL draft. You're going to have in other sports where people get drafted when they're in college already, such as baseball and hockey. You're going to have those guys get drafted, and they're just going to play out all four, and they're going to use it as bargaining leverage. They already have used it as leverage, but here's more leverage. They'll be like, hey, I'm getting $50,000 a year in marketing deals. You better offer me a huge contract to get me to come out early. You're going to have all those factors. I'm glad it's very long overdue. I'm glad the college athlete is going to finally be empowered financially and learn how to develop a brand much earlier. It's going to shatter the agent landscape. This truly is a new era. Like the big dogs who were on top, many of them are not going to be on top anymore, and the ones that will be on top, were some of the organizations and agents who are doing it right. And now the value of their work finally matters a lot more than just greasing palms. And talking a lot of game, which is really what won many recruiting battles as an agent in that second era that we just left. But this new era, this third era, you're going to see the landscape change dramatically.
Well, I always said that, whenever you got something like this going on, you never know who's doing, like you said, the underhanded thing, and you never know, what these kids are thinking. Especially nowadays. I would like to think we're a little bit more predictable. Back in my day, I hate to sound like an old guy, but we're a little bit more predictable in our day. But these kids nowadays, man, these athletes coming out, you never know what their motives are, especially with with social media and everything else that's out there.
I learned that quite a bit. I learned that as each year went on, and when you have to recruit hard. And, if you're batting 100 as a NFL player agent in terms of recruiting very talented players, if you get 1 out of 10, you're in the Hall of Fame. That's a Hall of Fame batting average if you're targeting great clients. So because 1 out of 10 is considered great, and most of us didn't come close to 1 out of 10, you got to keep recruiting and reaching out. And as the years went on, you saw the communication levels change. People got a little bit more erratic. That's one of the reasons I'm happy I'm not doing it anymore. I had enough after 10 years being in that recruiting side. But you're right. It's things are more unpredictable. I think now it might help a little bit though. Now you get a chance to work with somebody in college for a while. They can test you out. They can see that you're the real deal. They can put you to the test. It's not just recruiting talk, which is what everybody got. We couldn't work with them when they were in college. So you just got a lot of promises, a lot of hot air, no opportunity really to prove it unless there's a few narrow categories where maybe if the player got hurt or whatever. But for the most part, you didn't have any opportunity to really prove it to somebody in college. Now you do. Now you can go out there and get deals. Now you can give them advice. Now you can, act as an advisor. There's many more opportunities to show what's up and see and develop a real relationship with that player and earn that trust before they even come out of college.
Exactly. And I've always said, people will get upset. Like you said, empowering the athlete, long overdue. I always would use the analogy like if, I had a child or a son, or if you had a child and a son and a daughter, and they got a scholarship to play sports, or they got a scholarship academically, and Microsoft said, you're one of the best antivirus decoders I've ever seen. I want to pay you $500,000 a year. You're not going to say, nah, you can't do that. You're going to say,
yeah,
nah.
you can be like, see
ya. Yeah, you're going to be like, go work for Microsoft and work in, go to school. And they're not going to take your money, or they're not going to take your scholarship from you, because you're working for Microsoft. So, yes, It's about time the athletic student athlete, finally getting their money, man. So let's move on to Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers. Him going, for going early and jumping in to college, going to Ohio State coming up. What is your opinion on that?
Hey, if you can do it, all the power to him. We're going to start seeing that a lot more in states where it's, not specifically barred, especially where high schoolers can get in that mix, can either come out early or can just have endorsement deals when they're still in high school. That's going to really vary on a state by state level. But hey, man, if he can get it, like, why shouldn't he get it? Like, you'd get it if you could. I would too. So I give him all the props in the world. We're going to see it a lot more. I think we'll see it accelerate in the next year or two, and then it might dial back when we start seeing that some of these people never panned out, never really made an impact, never helped the school's brand or the brands that they're working with. So, I think it's going to happen more for a while. Then it's going to kind of come down to a more level playing field in terms of this happening. But it's gonna keep happening for sure. And I say him personally, go out and get it. I'm ecstatic that he's doing that. I hope we get more. It just adds to athlete empowerment. I think, a big school like Ohio State got him, but I think it's going to cause some mid-tier people to get some prominent prospects that they may not otherwise been able to get, just with this new mix and all these new abilities for brands and different ways for money to flow legally. It's gonna totally adjust the landscape. I think Alabama is gonna be diminished eventually, because right now they do have really good TV ratings and the name, but it's a small market for real. It's a small market, so that goes against them. So I think this may be what chips away at the Alabama legacy right now. And I shouldn't say legacy. Legacy is always going to be there, but it chips away at the power that they have right now in terms of being at the top. And Clemson too. I mean, Clemson
recent dynasty.
Clemson's more polished, and but they're still in a very small market. They're not too far from Charlotte, but so they're in a little bit better better position. But I see this system, adding more parity, I think, to the college football landscape.
Well, you figure maybe Nick Saban, that's why he came out and said, hey, man, I got a quarterback who's going to make $1 million, this year potentially. Because remember, he threw that out there. So maybe he can kind of, like you say, he can see, the future of this diminishing, his recruiting, But man, this has been awesome. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. I see our producer typing notes to us, so my segment is coming to an end. So I'm gonna hit the road. Normally I review a beer on my spots, but I gotta go drive an hour pretty soon, so I'm keeping it safe. I'm not gonna do it today. But if anybody likes beer, go to Mook's Brews on Instagram. Mook's Brews, I give you beer reviews. It's not a business, it's just something I do for fun. But if you're into craft beer, check it out. Mook's Brews on Instagram.
Were you drinking at the were you guys doing like a drink kind of or thing at one of the arena football
Oh yeah, we were doing during halftime shows. Yeah, we
Okay,
like the
okay.
double headers, and I think
There
I
you
did a
go.
third one too. That was fun. Fan control football league.
There we
What a
go.
fun league that is. I'm looking forward to that coming back. And NFL Draft Bible did kind of help that league a little bit behind the scenes, and we hope to continue to help them moving forward. Yeah, it's a fun league for
Before I
sure.
get out of
And
here,
I'm
brother.
gonna keep bringing beer, and the next time it comes around, I'm gonna bring some more beer to the broadcast.
Beautiful, man. A few questions right quick before we get you out of here. I want to learn some more about you. What's your go-to meal?
Go-to meal. See, I gave up. I had a client, a former client of mine, Jalen Reeves Maven. He dared me to give up pork, so I gave it up, and I never came back to it. But it used to be pulled pork. That's what I used to eat on the road.
Okay.
And I don't eat fried food anymore either.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I would say beef brisket, a good barbecue beef brisket. I'm very discerning. If you give me some bad brisket, I'm gonna come down on you hard. But the good brisket, which I'm probably gonna have later today, that gets me going. That's probably my favorite meal, I'd say.
Hidden talent nobody knows about.
Hidden talent nobody knows about. Oh man. I'm really good at mapping.
Okay.
I map. COVID caused me to get into mountain biking, and it brought out a love of mapping all these trails around me that nobody's ever mapped. So I've mapped 1,500 trails at least in the last year. And I mean, actually riding them, getting their GPS, naming them, putting them on an electronic map. So that is a random skill of mine. But yeah, that is one of my hidden skills.
Map King Mook. That's his name to me now.
Yeah.
I give everybody a nickname. Map King Mook.
Yeah, pull me back in the 1800s. I would have been a millionaire making these maps.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What's your favorite gadget?
Favorite gadget? I'm not a huge gadget guy, so I guess I gotta say my phone. But you know what? Actually, I have another answer. A 360 camera. I love my 360 camera. I love skiing with it, mountain biking with it, taking it to group events. It creates really cool pictures and video, the likes that most people haven't really seen before. So I do enjoy my 360 camera too.
And if you could be a super villain or a superhero, who would it be? What do you assimilate to the most?
Oh man, I am a big Marvel Universe fan. I never really like pick one out and wish I was that guy. But I guess you got to go for some of the most powerful guys. So I would just say Thor, because Thor in shape Thor, not fat depressed Thor.
Okay.
In shape Thor.
Beautiful, man. You got any shout outs or announcements you'd like to say in closing?
No, I already touched on Mook's Brews. You want to check the beer out, come here. Check out my main Instagram account, Mookagram. I'm a practicing attorney. Get in touch if you have any civil litigation needs. Even if it's not within the states I practice, Massachusetts and Rhode Island, I can find you somebody that can help you. I got a network of friends. NFL Draft Bible Consulting. Absolutely, you're out there, and in any way you need assistance, you need a special boost with what you're doing, whether you happen to be a player, an agent, an aspiring agent, a league, a team, whatever it is, you put Rick and I together. We can help you make some advances that you didn't have the time or exposure to make. So you can get at me very easily. DM me in Mookagram or DM me Mook Williams on Twitter, and we can chat.
My man, Mook Williams, everybody. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. And that is Mook Williams, guys. NFL Draft Bible Consulting here with us. Man, a lot to learn there. If you didn't get it all, rewind the video, go back and check it out, because he laid some gems out there for us to dig up and to learn from, man. That was absolutely awesome. And I'm going to keep this show moving here. I know that we have another guest in the back there. We got Matt Sposta coming up. I know Sam is putting us together. Super producer, shout out super producer Sam in the back. Sam Saratella, she makes sure that keeps us all straight here and has all the guests coming up, as we go. Also, appreciate Mook coming on and just enlightening us and giving us the lowdown of what it's about to be an agent or to try to get into the world of being an NFL agent, which I told him that I was thinking about it, But hearing what he had to say and all the money you have to come up with and the commitment, I mean, sure, the commitment, but the money aspects and having to, support players to a certain level until they get paid and all this, and then the test taking and what it's absolutely outrageous. From
Another Sunday showdown where fearless fantasy tycoons forego the camaraderie of team and embark on teams of their own.
Yes! Let's go.
Nobody cares about your fantasy team, Todd.
Hey!
Maybe nobody used to care about your fantasy teams, but those days are over.
Told you people care about the Todd Squad.
Think bigger, Todd. I'm talking about a national fantasy league with teams representing cities and states and managed by fantasy experts who are beholden to us. We're their stakeholders.
I used to be holding a beverage.
Yeah, and then you got chop block, Todd. Offsetting penalties. The point is that we don't have to go mano a mano anymore. Hermanos, sports are more fun when experienced together. And fantasy should be no different. So we'll stake a team, Dean. We'll huddle with our crew, Sue. We'll even DM our GM, Liam. Just like Jerry Jones. How do you like them apples, cowboy?
You have piqued my interest.
Good, because now we can pick the team that we want to run with, the GM that we want to back, the roster that we believe in, but don't want to manage. Because, well, I mean, we all got a lot going on, and some of us have jobs here.
Jobs? Forget it. He's on a roll.
So finally, we can watch our players and discuss our strategy and trash talk our opponents as we watch our fantasy football team together. And if we win,
It's like the fantasy version of fantasy.
no, it's the Hall of Fantasy League, where fantasy becomes a team sport. Are you guys with me? Yeah!
Introducing the Hall of Fantasy League franchises. The Philadelphia Powder Kegs, the Chicago Hog Mollies, the Boston Barflies, the Vegas Pocket Kings, the Atlanta Hot Wings, the Texas Yallers, the Seattle Haze, the Ohio Goats, the New York Bodega Cats, the LA Sidekicks. Don't miss out on your chance to take part in a new era of fantasy sports. Stake your team today.
Oh man, what an interesting, funny, and informative commercial.
That's a doozy, huh? I'm
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
good, Big Log. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, man, guys. This is Matt. Is it Sposta?
Sposta.
Sposta. We got Matt Sposta of the Hall of Fantasy League, correct?
Correct. Thanks for having me
man.
today.
Thank you for coming on, man. And
Of course.
I can tell you this seems different from other fantasy leagues. And I would love for you to educate us on how different it is. What does it mean? Talk to us about Hall of Fantasy.
Yeah, so let's go back 4 years ago when we first started building this. I'm an avid fantasy player as well as my co-founders, and we realized that there was more in the fantasy world. People were looking for a deeper connection, and we realized that when you look at fantasy and peel back the layers, that really that community element is missing. Fantasy's historically been an individual sport. And we saw what was going on in the esports world. And, you look at video games and video gamers historically are, similarly fragmented space. And there you go. And we saw the opportunity to really create this first community-based fantasy game. But how do you get someone to care about another person's team? How do you get people together in a communal environment? Well, by launching the first national professional league, we're bringing folks together by giving them the opportunity to stake these professional teams, stake professional managers,
and be part of this growing community, get behind a team, be part of a fan base, adopt the pro sports model in the same way that esports is done, and bring these individuals together. And we launched our teams, our team brands, our managers, and the community's been electric. It's exciting seeing people coming together over these commonalities, whether it's the geo-based franchises, folks from the Ohio area. We saw it last night. I'm out in Canton for the Hall of Fame enshrinement. People are talking about the GOATs, and they see people wearing the gear, and it's just amazing. So it's really kind of elevating fantasy to that next level, and we look at this as really the next innovation in fantasy sports.
So tell me if I'm wrong with this. So if typically basic fantasy league is you pick players, every individual person picks some players, and they watch for Sunday, watch for the stats, and whoever has the most compelling stats or the best stats is the winner for that week. Now, tell me, how is that different from what you guys do?
So it's not. It's not different. It's the same format. So we're leveraging the same fantasy format, head-to-head matches, week to week. The only difference is the folks behind the strings who are managing the team are professional fantasy players, fantasy experts from some of the biggest outlets across the media space. Us as fans, we have the ability to back these professionals. But more than just back them, we have the ability to influence decision making, affect change within the community. Fantasy analysts in general are prognosticators, so they're out there, making picks, but they're never really held accountable for their decision making. For the first time ever, they're going to be held accountable.
Hold on, brother. I got it. Hold on, Matt. Hold on a second, brother. Okay, mind blown. Okay, I think it just clicked with me. So, like you said, as we have the E-teams, the E-video game teams, you have your Hall of Fame teams. All right? You're going to have people rooting for your Hall of Fame teams. Mind blown.
Correct.
I love it.
We're building brands. We're building fan bases. We're building communities. Folks are wearing the gear. Folks are coming out with their friends. They're staking teams together. This is becoming an activity that people are now enjoying. So instead of sitting on your couch by yourself on a Sunday, you could go to a bar with 5 friends, and you could all back the same team, and you could follow and have the same rooting interest. The genesis of this whole platform, my co-founder and I have been playing fantasy sports since we're probably 8 years old together. And, over the years, he calls me and, hey, I have a question about my team. Can you help me? And I'd be like, no one gives a crap about your fantasy team. And it's like, we're in the same league. I'm not helping you. So, the old adage is really no one cares about your fantasy team. So what if you had the ability to share in the excitement with friends, watch the game unfold with like-minded individuals and people with the same rooting interests? It's the same reason why, traditional sports and sports franchises have the biggest fan bases and why people come out to the games. It's really elevating the excitement of fantasy in a different way. You're not going to do it by yourself anymore. You get to do it with a group of friends and other like-minded individuals within the community. So
it's almost like, as your group, as you're rooting for a certain team, the Bodega Cats. Why didn't our guy pick up,
Exactly.
Antonio,
exactly.
AG from Washington. The guy had 11 touchdowns. He's a budding star, right? Why did we get him this week?
And that's the conversation that we're so excited about, like the controversy, the good choices, the bad choices. I mean, that's what's going to create all this compelling content. And obviously the financial element is what gets people really excited about these things, whether it's fantasy, whether it's sports betting. But really what we're trying to bring to life is this whole new community where people are, engaged on a deeper level on a week-to-week basis with these fantasy teams. And, it's more about the financial element than it is, I think, the community and what the community is going to do for this league. So.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. So, what are some of the partnerships and some of the uniqueness, in the marketplaces?
Partnerships that we have at the league level, or just in terms of, what our plans are for the future?
Plans for the future. Well, what? Give us a little bit of both.
Yeah. So when you think of partnerships, if you look across our team, our franchises have these expert general managers. Sports Illustrated, Michael Fabiano, who's one of the biggest names in fantasy sports, is a co-GM of our Ohio team. You look across our franchises, you have representation from a ton of the different media outlets. Half of our GMs are actually hosts on Sirius XM, so they have their own following already built in. So partnerships all across the fantasy space. But each team also has a team captain. A team captain is a former player, and we look at them as kind of an ambassador for the team. So you look in Ohio, you have a guy like Joe Thomas, who's, this Ohio great who people love. Darren Woodson in Texas for the Texas Yallers. Rashad Jennings for the Bodega Cats. So it creates this relatable thing where you're all part of the same team. You're part of the team with your front office, who are managing the team, with your team captains, and also these individuals who stake the team with you. So you and your stakeholders have this connection. So those are some of the big partnerships, but we'll be rolling out things over the coming weeks and months as we go into season. You're going to see our inaugural draft, which is going to happen. It's going to be a highly produced live stream event, which is going to be really fun. There's going to be a ton of playback on that, which is going to be fun to watch. We're bringing in brand partners, sponsors. We have partnerships on the fantasy side with our technology. So there's a lot of exciting things that are going to be coming out over the next 6 weeks before the launch of the season.
And I got to get into this because I'm all about this. I've heard that you guys kind of have a Hall of Fantasy Village coming, dubbed the Disneyland of football.
Yeah, so our parent company, we were actually acquired about a year ago by the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, and they're building this amazing project. It's a resort, and it's out in Canton, Ohio. Built around the museum. And I was actually at the Hall of Fame game last night, the Pittsburgh-Dallas game. The place was electric. And not because the Steelers were in town, and Cleveland Browns fans do not like the Steelers, but I will tell you, the Cowboys and the Steelers travel really well. I mean, the Steelers are close, but the amount of Cowboy fans there last night was great. And, just the whole area, what's being built, we were watching from the deck at the Center for Excellence, which is one of our new facilities over there. And it's just amazing seeing the whole project come to fruition. I've been a part of this for a year, and the amount of progress that we've seen in the last year has been unbelievable, and excited to see the continued growth and evolution of this business.
Man, that's amazing. So when can fans anticipate the launch of this and find out and where to find more info?
Yeah, so we're actually already launched. You could go to us at the HOFL.com. You could check us out on Twitter at the HOF League. There's information all across the web on us, whether we're on Facebook, Twitter, our website. You could actually stake our teams already. Our teams are available for stake. And to become a stakeholder, you go to our website, and there's a little button that says stake a team. We're going to be rolling out our inaugural draft. We're going to be announcing that soon. There's going to be it's a mobile first application, which is going to be launching very soon. And then the start of the season, which kicks off in September with the start of the regular NFL season. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of excitement in the community, and definitely come check us out. This is our website, as you can see on the screen. These are some of our team brands. The team brand, I mean, this is the best part. I mean, when you think about fantasy, what makes fantasy fun? The most playful part about fantasy is like creating your team name, talking trash. I mean, this is what makes it special.
Logos, shirts,
exactly.
gear.
That
is the amazing part about this. You've created just an entire different world.
So just a different ecosystem. Yeah, exactly. So, just given everything you're seeing in the world right now between esports and video games, between NFTs and blockchain, the amount of communities that are developing, whether in Discord, on Twitter, it's amazing. People are just looking for a deeper connection, other ways to connect with like-minded individuals. And this is going to be one of them. So, excited for the launch of all of this. We are open for staking, so you can back your local team, you can back your favorite fantasy expert, and soon the teams are going to be drafted, and you can be opportunistic and look for the best team, best roster composition, and go after that. So a lot of different ways to engage.
Awesome, man, awesome. So now I got to go off the cuff with you here, man. Rapid fire. All right. What are your measurables right now?
Measurables
and your position.
In terms of
football,
for me personally,
yes,
like playing football.
Yeah.
I haven't played football in probably like 2 or 3 years, But I'm
All right.
small. I'm 5'8", 160. But
Okay.
I was mean on that flag football field.
Okay. All right. Wide receiver, linebacker,
Receiver,
what
receiver, and D-back.
There we go. All right.
You caught me off guard. I retired my cleats. I hung them up a long time ago.
Yeah, but we all look. It's like a locker room, so we always got to get our.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm about 6'1", 285. I'm a 3 technique, so that's how I go.
You bulldozed me. You bulldozed me out there.
Yeah, so those are my measurables. So
I love it.
What's your best home cooked meal?
Oh, my best home cooked meal. My wife would tell you it's my meatballs. I got my grandma's Italian recipe of meatballs in there.
Oh my goodness! I would love to try to say that. If you had $100K to give to a charity, what would it be?
Oh man, to a charity. Which charity would I choose? What cause would I choose?
Yes, sir.
There are so many good causes out there. We're doing a lot of great things around diversity at the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. We're giving opportunities to underprivileged folks. There's really great programs that we've launched over there. So stuff in that vein, in that space. That's something that's been near and dear to me, and things that we've been talking about. I just was having conversations about it last night. So it'll be something in that area.
Okay. All right. What are your guilty pleasures? Or what is a guilty pleasure? How about that?
Guilty pleasure, fantasy football.
Yeah, man. Okay.
You got to ask my wife because what fantasy used to be my guilty pleasure, but now it's work, right? So my Sundays when I'm watching football, all of a sudden it's like, honey, I'm working.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's why we're all in it, right?
Exactly. So,
what is your most treasured possession?
My most treasured possession. I mean, tangible or intangible? I mean,
tangible.
I don't even know if you could consider this a possession, but I have 2 baby girls at home who I'm away from right now, 2.5 and 5 years old, and they're my world. So
they're yours. Absolutely, brother. And if you had to identify with a superhero or a supervillain, who would it be?
Oh wow, that's a good one. I've always liked Nightcrawler because he's just like in the shadows and he's, sneaky in a good way, but he's always plotting. I'm always moving. I'm always hustling. I'm always trying to make stuff happen. So I have that startup scrappy mentality. Even though we're with our parent company is a public company, I still operate with that same sort of energy. So.
That is a first, my man, called Nightcrawler out here. I love it. Well, man, anything you want to say in closing?
Come check us out at the, HOFL.com. The season's going to be kicking off in a couple of weeks, but the amount of information that's going to be flowing out there, people are going to be excited to see some of the announcements that are going to be coming out. We're excited for what's to come. This is a new innovation in the fantasy space. As you see, our commissioner right there, Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer, Denver Bronco great. I'm going to be seeing him tonight, hopefully, out here at enshrinement. A lot of fun things to come, and this is really, for me as a fantasy enthusiast and player myself, it's just something that I would want to be a part of. So I, urge everyone to go check us out.
Beautiful, man. Appreciate that, guys. That is Matt
Sposta. You got it.
My man, Matt Sposta of the Hall of Fantasy League, guys. Go check them guys out, man. It looks like they're gonna have a lot of fun. You could have just a ton of fun. Oh, a quick question: How much does it cost to get into the league?
The barriers to entry are low. You could come in with as little as $5. So you could just come in, get a taste, stake a few teams, or you could come in heavy in the beginning, but you could do whatever you want. Just, you buy into the team, and then, once the app launches, you'll be able to connect your wallet to your team, and you get to see the action unfold within there. So
beautiful, man. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yes, sir. That is Matt Sposta, co-founder of the Hall of Fantasy League, which is absolutely amazing. Sounds like they're going to do some really fun things, some really good things, changing the landscape of fantasy football, and also giving you just another avenue, another outlet when it comes to sports. I mean, those, like, maybe some of the wives may not like some of that stuff, or some of the husbands whose wives are into sports deeply may not like it, but I love it. I love it. I love to see it, man. And, as we keep going, we have our next guest coming in. Good morning. Hello, Mr. Danton Barton. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I am great, sir. Thank you for coming on to the NFL Draft Bible this morning. So, what are your measurables today?
Mine? I always said I was 6'1". I'm not. So I've always been like 6 foot right on the dot. And I'm probably right now about too heavy, probably about 270. So
okay, so you like me, you're a 3 technique. Okay, we're into
it. Not always. Not always, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, man. Also appreciate that, man. Yeah, we always get the measurables of everybody who comes on the show. So yeah, man. But I appreciate you coming on here with us. And for what I understand, you're a former NFL scout with the Rams.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So kind of give us an idea of who you are in your history and how you became a scout in the NFL.
So, I had a very good college career. I was very fortunate to have a very good college career. I played, obviously now it's the University of Memphis. It was Memphis State at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I became the all-time tackle leader, which obviously the way football's played now, it's probably never going to be broken, but I became that. Then I went on and I played in the CFL. I got to play in the States when they had state teams. And then once I was done playing, I decided, at first I went into business, I was like, I'm done with this. And I was like, ooh, I don't really like this real world stuff. So I got into coaching. So I coached in the Arena League and I did all that. And then once the Arena League was kind of folding and I knew it was, we were in trouble. My owner was folding our team in Kansas City. And I was like, I got to get out of here. A good friend. So I knew Taylor Morton with the Rams. Taylor and I grew up together in the neighborhood, which is crazy, right? So 2 kids in a little town in Niceville, Florida, in the same neighborhood, working in the NFL. Well, Taylor asked me to come do a project. And I was, at first I was kind of like, do a project? Like, what do you mean? So I came up and it was the year we drafted Ogletree. I stacked all the linebackers for him. Off season. And then, from there, Les was like, hey, do you want to, Les the GM's like, do you want to, the scout, do you want to give it a whirl and see what it's like? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So that's how it kind of all evolved. Kind of crazy, right? Crazy how it just evolved. So I did that. And then, that was a good time. Unfortunately for us, we turned it around, but we didn't turn it around good enough, so that's when we got there. I think Coach Fisher did a good job of turning it around. We just couldn't turn the corner because of the quarterback thing, so we struggled. And, unfortunately, when that happens, the NFL, you get your walk, some people get their walking papers, and that's kind of what happened to a bunch of us there. So. Okay.
All right. Well, I can tell you, even to get to that level, man, that's just amazing. I aspire to be, to get to that level and to have that knowledge base, to be able to do that. Let me ask you this, being that you were a scout, what player did you stand on the table for and they wound up being an absolute stud? Like nobody really wanted, or not necessarily, that's the wrong word or the wrong term. Nobody was really thinking of them, but somebody you were like, hey man, we need this guy. I need him now. Bring him in.
My claim to fame on that is Darren Bates, who's Darren's still playing. 10-year career.
Wow.
Nobody, special teams guy, not a big, but those are the guys that make your team. Great special teams player. It was crazy because Coach Fisher did not like small linebackers, and Darren was a safety converted to linebacker at Auburn, but he led that Auburn in tackles. So it's kind of funny because I knew Darren. He's from this area. I'm from around Memphis right now. He played high school around here. So I remembered him. I was like, this guy can run and he's pretty tough. And I banged the table for him and he made our team, became a special teams captain. And like I said, I think my son tells me because he keeps up with him because of some of the guys. And he said, "Hey, Darren just re-signed, Dad. He's going to play another 10 years." I said, "Wow, But those are the guys. To me, the good guys. We all kind of know those guys. And I'm not saying Darren, but those are the guys you kind of beat your chest with because you go, I was right about that guy when a lot of people didn't want him. And those are the feel-good ones, I guess, if that makes sense. And Darren's
Absolutely.
Been a player. Great player.
Absolutely, man. So, you said you played in the CFL. Is there any reactions that you had to the Hamilton and Winnipeg game or the Hamilton-Winnipeg?
First of all, I was excited to see it, right? I'm like, they're playing football again. Thank goodness. I was excited. I got a chance to, look at the crowd and look like people were just fired up. Winnipeg's a special place.
Okay.
It really is. I mean, it's a tough place. It's cold. It's everything you think probably about Canada, but their fans are awesome. And Hamilton's the same way. Hamilton kind of reminds me of Pittsburgh, but in a different way. Just tough, hardworking people. Those were two great places to me to play. To play at and play because their fan base is so good. So I was excited. That's probably the more I probably watched it more as a fan than anything. Just kind of, oh wow, we're back.
Mm-hmm. That's right, man. And I can tell you, and you being in the Hall of Fame in Memphis, one of my good friends, Andy Hilton, also is a guy from there, and he does a lot of high school and college scouting out here in Hampton Roads for us. But yeah, man. Going to the Hall of Fame, tell me what that was like for Memphis.
It was pretty unbelievable because when I they called me and they told me, you don't have any idea that's ever going to happen. I think everybody obviously gets excited about it. You want it. I think if you play, you want to be recognized. I think that's human nature. But when I got the call, it was pretty unreal. And I was probably more proud, just proud that people would go, hey, you know what? He was a good football player, and a good, good person, good football player, tough guy, played the game the right way. It's funny. Isaac Bruce was my teammate. In college. He's going in this weekend. I just talked to my buddy that used to play linebacker next to me in college. And I said, are you on the way up there? He goes, I'm just pulling in the hotel right now. I said, well, give Isaac a hug. I said, man, it's kind of corny. I said, it's kind of one of those deals like we feel like almost like what was the movie, the mafia movie, Goodfellas. We're all getting made. You feel like part of it.
Yeah.
We all feel like we're going in the Hall of Fame. You had a little bit of piece of that, with him in that journey. It's amazing. I'm so, I was excited, and I can't imagine how that's going to be, going in the Hall of Fame in Memphis, but going in the NFL Hall of Fame is just, it's got to be unreal.
Man, that hasn't been, I haven't been up there and done a weekend or done a week with that yet. I'd love to get up there and, and do a week with that, maybe in a year coming up here soon. But thoughts on the game, speaking of that, thoughts on the game last night, from a player, coach, and personnel perspective. I mean, what do you think of the Dallas roster and the Pittsburgh roster? We can start with the Cowboys if you like.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Cowboys. I think, obviously with them getting their O-line back, they lost 3 guys last year to a lot of time from being hurt. I hope that, you pay Dak all that money, so you're going to want to use them. But I've always thought Dallas is better if they just run the ball, and don't get too fancy. Just, if they're healthy, run people over. That's what they're good at, and they can do that with a healthy O-line. And, people don't like that though. People, It's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's not fun. It's, we paid Dak all this money. Let's throw the ball. Yeah, that's great. But, there's a time and a place, I think. You've got 2 really good running backs. Defensively, they're going to have to step up. I think they'll be better this year defensively for Dallas. I think they can get some pass rush. Obviously taking the linebacker was a big deal.
Yeah.
He's going to help. But I was kind of shocked that it's obviously preseason game 1. I was kind of shocked the Steelers were able to kind of run the ball on Dallas. It's kind of you kind of go, ooh, well, all I've heard is the Steelers' O-line's not very good, and they're and they're running the ball. Like I was like, well, this is okay, this is kind of strange, So,
Right.
but kind of an early preseason ugly game, But there's some guys that you get excited about watching, and that's the thing is, when you're in the NFL and you're closer to it, that's what I was telling a lot of people on Twitter. We always did, we had to do cuts, what we call cuts and bubbles. Guys on the cut, we think we're going to get cut. Guys are on the bubble, might be salary cap. And this was a fun part of the season for me, scouting. I really like, because I thought that you, as a college scout, you realize what was playing in the NFL again. You got another feeling of it, because we don't always get that. They're sitting in there that the pro guys are the ones doing that, and the us guys we're out doing college, so it's always good to get to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Pittsburgh, what do you think about their roster? I
like it. I mean, they're gonna have to play defense, which they always do. I think of Ben, if everybody's counting Ben out, he's this, he's that, and I'm like, a lot of teams would still like to have Ben.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think if you can, I did like them picking up Najee. I think that fits. I really do. If they can run the ball, I think they want to establish being physical and play. What the Steelers have always been: run the ball. Pass, they can pass, but physical on defense, physical on offense. And I think that's what they're going to try to do this year. And it'll be interesting because, like you said, their offensive line, a lot of people are like, oh, they're struggling. But I was like, well, they look decent last night. I didn't watch the film of it. I will, but I was like, they look pretty good last night blocking.
That's right. I would call Najee is almost like what the doctor ordered. I call that also. He's like you say, he's a culture pick. Is a term that I'll use, to get back to what they used to do. Tough running, tough defense, and to kind of mix up some of that passing that they've been doing all these few last years. And I think that's going to make a difference for them. Of course, they play in a greatly improved division, and there's no gimmies in that division at all.
No, it's
right there.
It's brutal. That's a brutal division now. And all the way all of a sudden went, well, this is now, ooh, like, wow, there's a lot of good. Yeah.
I mean, they're like Cincinnati. Whoa, wait a minute. Joe Burrow comes healthy, he's going to throw all over you.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, if there was a team in the NFL that you think is going to surprise the league, who would it be this year?
The team that's going to surprise the league. I don't know. I just don't know. I think here's the funny thing. I think Jacksonville will be a lot better.
Okay.
I don't know what that record means. That's the weird thing, but I do think they'll be better. I think Urban Meyer is, whether he's an NFL guy or not, everybody talks about the guy's a great coach. The guy knows how to coach. He knows how to win. It's going to be different, but I just think they have a lot of young talent there. And he'll do a good job of meshing it. Obviously, surprises. I don't. The Rams. I think the Rams will surprise, if you can call it a surprise. Stafford with McVay is going to be tough.
Electric.
A lot of teams aren't going to like to see that on Sundays, and that's right. The reason they gave all that up, and I think McVay does I think in that division, McVay and Shanahan do an unbelievable job calling offense. It's it's uncanny. It's amazing to watch. So, but that's kind of mine. I think everybody's waiting to see what the Bears are going to do.
Okay.
With Justin, everything I've heard, he's looked unbelievable. So, you don't know until they get out there, and that's the thing. It's hard, for us as fans, because we're not there at training camp. We don't get to see everything till they play in a preseason game. And that's what kind of always excites me about it. Especially seeing some young O linemen, or they're in there with maybe not the best guys, and how to react. It's fun to watch.
I think the team that's going to come up is San Diego. That's just my opinion on,
Oh, yeah.
if their roster healthy, I see them coming up, making some waves. And now I got to get your team that's up here that's going to fall.
Who's it? And I do this every year, and I feel like an idiot that I do it every year. But I mean, eventually, well, here's what I'm gonna do, because I want to say Brady, but I'm gonna say the Saints are. I'm gonna say the Saints. I'm not betting. Every time I bet against Brady, I feel like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Me too. Yeah, I do. Me too.
Keep showing me he's like, hey, idiot, you gonna bet against me again? I'm like, no. So, but I think without Drew, that organ, we're gonna find out. Sean is considered a great play caller, so we'll see it this year. Obviously, because it's gonna be a lot different without Drew there. Whoever wins the job.
And the one I'll say is Seattle. I think that Russ is gonna be Russ. But I think that they've lost so much, and they're still they're like in that middle trying to rebuild in that division with, like you said, with the Rams getting Stafford, San Francisco coming back healthy, and Kyler Murray, and they picked up some weapons on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I see them, taking a couple steps back, Seattle. So I'll be interested to see what happens with them.
Yeah, that division's brutal. I was like, and it was so funny because when we got there, I was like, this division, historically for the last few years before we got there with Fisher, it stunk, and then all of a sudden, Jesus, everybody's good in this division.
That's right.
I was like, we got to get a lot better because we got some problems over here.
That's right, man. So let me do this. Let's go rapid fire.
Okay.
Questions really quick. All right. You ready?
Yes.
What is your favorite home cooked meal?
Pasta.
Pasta. What kind of pasta?
I like baked ziti.
Baked ziti. With meat or without?
I'll do it with meat.
With meat?
Yeah.
Beef or chicken? Or pork?
I do.
Or like a bolognese?
I do Italian sausage.
Oh, okay. See, I'm a foodie, so I gotta get these. Look, I gotta get these questions answered. I'm a foodie, so I love it. What are some of your hidden talents no one knows about?
I was a pretty good basketball player when I was younger.
Okay.
I played basketball and baseball. I played, all three sports, the main ones when I was growing up. I was a naturally gifted weightlifter. It was easy. I benched 400 pounds in high school. 405.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, that's amazing, brother. Man, I got a question in the chat room. It's coming from was that CT Smith 56? He says, "What city did you like visiting to play at CFL? In the CFL?"
I loved obviously BC, British Columbia. I enjoyed. I always liked when we played Ottawa. Ottawa was a pretty place. I really liked Ottawa. Probably Ottawa. It's hard because I don't want to offend somebody, but I liked. Probably my favorite was Ottawa.
Okay, all right, and I gotta say, shout out to my man Tom Goodhines, and of course Brian Beasley, and all my folks. Looks like we have some guy. Better believe it, and all of our in the chat room there, guys. I meant to get to you, but I had a jam-packed show. But yeah, there's a guy, Tom Goodhines from the Hub football camp out in San Diego, helping dreams come true. Thank you guys for tuning in. Also, continuing on with your questions. What characteristic are you most known for?
Honesty.
Okay.
Brutally honest, unfortunately.
Brutal. Bloody, brutally honest. Bludgeoningly, I play linebacker like you. Bludgeoningly honest.
Yeah.
As we would say.
Yeah.
If you had $100K to give to a charity, what charity would it be?
I would give to the veterans, homeless veterans, any way I could.
My man, I'm here in Hampton Roads. We got a lot of military bases here. Biggest Navy base, a lot of Army base. Everything's out here. So I love to hear that, man. That's a great selection. Also, what's your favorite gadget?
My wife would tell you my phone, so I'm gonna have to go phone. So
Okay, your phone. Okay, all right. And what's your most prized possession?
my son. I have a grown son, but he's still my pride and joy. I think that never ends. Drives me crazy at times, but
that's his rite of passage. That's his right to drive you crazy.
Right.
Love it, man. And last question: what superhero or villain would you assimilate to, or that you are the most like?
The Hulk.
That's my man. The Hulk, baby. That's my guy. That's my guy, the Hulk too. I love it, man. Oh man, it's been great talking to you, Danton. Man, we got to catch up sometime, brother. You ever get out here on the East Coast at all?
It's been a while, but I got to start heading that way here. I got some things I got to do, and I got some friends that live on the East Coast I need to see too.
Yeah, man, we got to catch up sometime, man. When you're in town, I cover UVA and ECU as far as media goes, but yeah, you and I have to catch up, man. Seems like we're kind of in the same wheelhouse when it comes to a lot of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you, brother. Anything you'd like to say in closing?
Nah, yeah. Everybody have a good weekend. Be safe.
Appreciate that, Danton. All right, guys. That is awesome. That was Danton Barton, Hall of Fame player for the Memphis State Tigers when he was playing, is what it is. Now they're the Memphis Tigers. Great interview there. Great person. Like I said, we just keep this ball rolling, man. Football has officially kicked off. I'm excited. And week in, week out, it doesn't change. What my man say, Rick, the boss, can't stop, won't stop. It don't stop here at the NFL Draft Bible Sports Illustrated Fan Nation, all here together, man. And just like I said, just everybody, hey, what's going on, CT Smith in the chat room, all my folks out there. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll just, you guys just stay tuned, and we'll keep you guys entertained and educated as always. And if that's everything, Sam, super producer Sam in the back, we can go ahead and end this show. But, in closing, as I say, we love you guys, and we can't do this without you guys. Every day, this show is on. Season 2 is officially kicked off and running, and just look for great things from the State of Football NFL Draft Bible brand. We are expanding, a lot of great things going on. And like I said, I am Big Law. You can get me also 7 City Shop Talk Sports, also on Woo Radio, and of course here on the State of Football. This has been show number 264, and I am Big Law. We love you. I will see you next week. Peace.